Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Bahasham, Bracha HaKudash. Double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops, great millstone. Peace and blessed to the house of David the elect, beginning with the 144,000. The MOTB is something physical, all right? It's a literal mark that Esau Edom wants to put in every man, woman, little boy, and little girl, all right? Toddlers, infants, all right, whomever, your grandmother, they want to put that MOTB in everyone, all right? It's a physical thing. And to prove it, I have with me here a commentary of the Old and New Testaments, all right? Very old book here. I looked the date up. I had to look it up on the internet because I couldn't find it in this book itself. But this book was being printed. I want to say starting in 1878. Could possibly be older. But you could say for certain copies were being made in the 1880s. All right, so it's a very old book. But you can look this information up for yourself. All right. The Portable Commentary, a commentary critical and explanatory of the Old and New Testaments. All right. And they have, the different names of the men here that was working on this together. So we're going to be reading out of volume 2, dealing with the New Testament. Volume 1 goes to the Old Testament. Lord willing, I can get that copy as well. All right. We're just going to get right to it, though. Okay. But as you can see, you look at the leaves of this book. It's a very old book. So this is one of the original copies. Actually a blessing that I got it. I get a lot of my books from these old bookstores, man. So you can say this is vintage. All right. Now, we're in Revelation chapter 13. Okay. Where it goes to the MOTB. It goes into it. This is on page 622. All right. So we're going to start from this section here where you see the number 16. All right. Where it says to receive a mark. Now, they have LIT, which means literal. Literal or literally that they should give them a mark. A physical thing. A physical thing. Let's read that again. You see number 16. Now it says to receive a mark. Literally that they should give them a mark. Now we're going to read some more. Such a brand as masters stamp on their slaves and monarchs on their subjects. What would that brand or master stamp be in today's time? That device. The CHIP, the CHIP, the micro CHIP, okay? That's what it is. The Esau Edom wants to put in people's heads and in their hands. It's a modern brand or stamp, To receive a mark, literally that they should give them a mark, such a brand as masters stamp on their slaves and monarchs on their subjects. Because who would the masters and monarchs be in today's time? The Edomites, in particular, the wicked elite banking families. Now it says soldiers voluntarily punctured their arms with marks of the general under whom they served. Right. So, you have people that will, voluntarily, mark themselves. But see, in the case of the MOTB, you're going to have to make a choice. It's not going to be something that's voluntary, mark themselves. But see, in the case of the MOTB, you're going to have to make a choice. It's not going to be something that's voluntary, mark themselves. But see, in the case of the MOTB, you're going to have to make a choice. Now it says soldiers voluntarily punctured their arms with marks of the general under whom they served. Right. You know, so, you have people that will, voluntarily, mark themselves. But see, in the case of the MOTB, you're going to have to make a choice. It's not going to be something that's voluntary. Now you have certain people that's putting the MOTB in themselves now. Some of these biohackers and, people that call themselves cyborgs, they think that it's something cool. They're using the C-HIP because they have it has a number of different applications that they can use. A number of applications they can use, such as, unlocking their office door. Okay. Unlocking their car, different things like that. Some people are using the MOTB with their phones. Using the MOTB, the C-HIP with their laptops, whether you call it RFID or NFC, but specifically NFC, because I want to say NFC has more applications, but people also use it to pay for things. So we see people voluntarily putting it in themselves now, but very soon it's going to be this, it's going to be a master stamp, monarchs marking their subjects. Basically, it's going to be mandatory for everyone to take in order for you to coexist with the grid. For you to coexist with this beast system, you're going to have this system's mark. All right? It's a literal thing, man. Let's read a little bit more. It's in order for you to coexist with the grid. For you to coexist with this beast system, you're going to have this system's mark. All right? In order for you to coexist with the grid, for you to coexist with this beast system, you're going to have this system's mark. All right? It's a literal thing. In order for you to coexist with the grid, for you to coexist with this beast system, you're going to have this system's mark. All right? It's a literal thing, man. Let's read a little bit more. It says votaries, which means that people that voluntarily do it, votaries of idols branded themselves with the idol's cipher or symbol. Thus, Antiochus, or some say Antiochus, Epiphanes branded the Jews, the Israelites, with the ivy leaf, the symbol of Bacchus. And they had scriptures for you there, 2 Maccabees, let's say 6 and 7. All right. And 3 Maccabees, if you have the Bible that has 3 Maccabees, it says, I want to say this, chapter 2 and verse 29. All right, and Lord, we can pull this up for you. 2 Maccabees is chapter 6. They have 6 and 7. So let's see if we can find that. But once again, this is showing you that the MOTB is something physical. It's literal. All right, we're in the Apocrypha. So let's see if we can pull this up. Okay. Shouldn't be difficult because the history is there. The information is there. All right. Okay, kind. So it will be 2 Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 7. Okay. And this shows you that Esau Edom, he outlawed us being Israelites. It was illegal to be an Israelite. You had to be fully engulfed in Greek culture and worship their gods. Let's start at verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days or ancient feasts or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. You couldn't even call yourself an Israelite from Judah, Benjamin, Levi. You had to be a Greek. Hence, the Gentiles in the New Testament that the beloved Apostle Paul spoke about. Those were Israelites that followed Greek culture, you know? Because going back to this, at one point in time in our history, during the time of the Greeks, it was illegal to be an Israelite. You couldn't even say you were, or you would be put to death on the spot. You know? You couldn't read the book of the law. If you was found with the book of the law, you was found with the Bible, you were put to death. You know? And the book of the law, this was called the Torah. You know? Today we have the entire book. You know, but if you was found with it during the time of the Greeks, you were put to death. Hey, they outlawed us reading the Bible during slavery in America, right? You know? You couldn't read the Bible. Hey, you couldn't even read, period. Showing you that this Edomite in today's time, he took it further. Not only will you not be allowed to read the Bible, they didn't allow us to read at all, you know, because they know who we are. Verse 7, this is the point. 2 Maccabees 6 and 7. Chapter 6, verse 7. For in the day of the king's birth, every month they were brought by bitter constraint to eat of the sacrifices. And when the feast of Bacchus was kept, the Jews were compelled to go in procession to Bacchus carrying ivy. Right, man? You know, so that's the point right there. Okay? But you also had to have that mark of the ivy leaf on you. And you know, for more info on that, you can read that in 3rd Maccabees. You know? 3rd Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 29. All right? So you can look that up for yourself. But this shows you that the MOTB is a very real thing. You know, since the beginning of time, you have had masters and monarchs branding their slaves, branding their subjects, you know, even dealing with, the history of the United States, the history of North America. Esau, Edom, the Edomites, they were branding our people. They were branding Israelites, you know, signifying that we were their slaves, you know. They would put a literal mark on us, okay? Whether it was, burning us with that, the piece of metal, with a symbol such as a horseshoe or whatever they used, you know. But in today's time, it's going to be a piece of technology. It's going to be that device, you know, the micro CHIP. So I pray this is edifying, Lord willing. You know, with that, hey, you see it speaks for itself. To receive a mark literally, you know, proving to you the mark of this beast system is something literal, okay? It's physical. It's a physical